For the players.
I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Max Cooper.
And this is For the Players, the PopCulturists PlayStation Podcast. With 40 years of playing PlayStation and 10 plus years in that games meeting combined, I'd like to thank you for joining us in this PlayStation conversation.
This PlayStation conversation happens every Monday morning at 8 a.m. on podcast services, including Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. If you'd like to take part in future conversations with us, you can. Come and check out our socials: Facebook, Discord, Instagram, and X. All of those links can be found in the description below.
If you want to join the conversation as it happens, head over to twitch.tv/thepopculturists so we can watch us record this show live. We can jump in the chat and become part of the show. If you want to support the show, you can. Tell your friends, tell your family about this PlayStation Pod. If you are listening to us on podcast services, be sure to give us a 5-star rating and a written review. Watch us on YouTube. Be sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment below. I endeavor to answer every single comment. If you want to support us financially, you can at patreon.com/thepopculturists, as well as our merchandise store, popculturists.com/shop, where you buy shirts and other sorted shit with our logos on it. End of the year, Max. Last episode. And you can't have tell that we are both feeling it. Like, it's almost Christmas.
Almost Christmas.
I'm still working. I still got work. Are you done yet?
No.
When are you done?
Friday.
Oh, same as me. Yeah. Gross.
And then I'm back the 2nd of January.
Yeah, I'm working over the break, even like over between Christmas and New Year.
No.
So that means I'm going to do this now and just final episode of the year. Have a couple brews.
Oh, if you're having a brew, I'll go get a real brew. I'll be back.
All right. Hey everyone, how you doing? But yeah, 2023. It's been a year, like many other years. Jerdman says, I'm part of the show, Ma. You both ooze sexuality. So that does true. We do both ooze, and sexuality may be in there as well. What do you... Make sure you crack it in the mic for extra emphasis. Hard Solo. That got me real messy at the Christmas party. That was a good crack. It's a good crack. Well, cheers, Max. 2023. Fucking cheers.
To 2023.
Oh, I did something today.
Yeah. Go on. You're a slim.
I got slim.
Oh, yeah.
It is actually quite slim. So, for those listening in the audio version, I'm holding up a PS5 Slim. One of the things I've been thinking about doing it for a while with the amount that I travel interstate, and I hike my PS5 with me because fucked if I go a couple of days without playing games. Apparently, I needed to get a small one. The other one's huge. Because I've got the OG one, like launch week. It's not launch day because that one shit the bed, and then I got one a week later. So it's got like the shit, like the not as good fans, less power consumption. Sorry, a higher power consumption is just not as good. So knowing that all those things, I was like, I'm gonna get the Slim. I worked out because I just paid off my TV using one of those fucking 50 months interest-free cardi doovies. So there's some money sitting on there. I was like, I could do it. I could pay it off. I could do it that way. I'm happy with that. And then I was chatting with my ex-wife, the mother of my child, and we're like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. James is probably going to want a PS5 soon because he wants to play Spider-Man 2 all the time, and there's not much PS4 games. And I was at your house the other day, and that PS4 Pro, that thing was hovering. Like, it is bad. Is not good in there. So she's buying the old one off me, and then I paid for the difference of the Slim. And so it's all set up, it's all transferred. Took about an hour and a half, which is not too bad at all. Jerdman in the chat asks, is it plasticky as fuck? It feels about the same material, but the glossy top part is the part that's weird, because you can see Max, there you go. That part is weird, and I still don't like that. So I will likely get some like those D brand ones and get it all
So literally
Hard?
a week after getting Spider-Man plates for your PS5, you've given away that PS5.
Yes, but so thanks to the team at PlayStation Australia, we were kindly gifted an awesome Spider-Man 2 merch pack, and as part of that pack was the side plates for the disc version of Spider-Man 2, which was cool. So they are going on that PS5, and that is going to my son. So he is getting, he's got his controller that he got. If you go back and watch that original video, Max has the second one. And now, so James has the plates and the matching controller. And when he realized today that this means he'll have a PS5 at his house, he may have exploded. Like, he was just so excited. Like, I know we could have held off for Christmas, but I didn't want to. And both parents gave the thumbs up, so we went, sure, why not? And he was so happy. So happy. But, and isn't that what this season's all about, Max? Sharing happiness and stuff.
It's supposed to be.
Allegedly, yeah. But it's mostly just like yelling at family.
Yep.
Speaking of yelling family, we went to your place this weekend for your daughter's birthday. My son was apparently really engaged in that he didn't want to leave.
Yeah, invitation was from 1 till 4, and I think James left at 5:30. It took us about an hour to get him out of there.
Yeah, he didn't. Yeah, I think he was unmedicated that day, which didn't help.
Yeah,
and
I also think he ate a water balloon. So just like be wary.
What?
A water balloon.
You said that, and I went, okay, cool. Wait. How did he eat a water balloon? I understand how he ate it. He put it in his mouth, but like, why was he in a position where he got to eat a water balloon?
Well, they were throwing water balloons around.
Yeah.
And then apparently they looked like candy once they're exploded. I told my child off for eating one, and the twins got told off for eating one, and I'm pretty sure James ate one, but no one can be sure. He was the eldest and was apparently supposed to be the smartest, but he may have been the ringleader getting everyone to eat.
I said, hey, I bet you all can't eat this fucking balloon. That does sound like my son. That actually does sound like my son. In the chat, Joe Man asked a very important question. Was there fairy bread?
Yes.
Yes, there was, and I ate some, and it was awesome. Shane Bailey, happy last step of the year, boys. Wishing you and everyone in chat all the best 2024. Mwah! All the best to you, Shane, as well. Happy New Year. Thank you for 2023. It's been good to catch up with you in a number of different times, and congrats on your 6 month with your letter friend. Ooh, that's nice. That is nice. But outside of that, Max, how's the been? How's what's the things? How's it going?
I'm counting down the days at work. I actually got really shitty at work the other day.
Oh yeah.
So I think I mentioned it last week. They're doing renovations at one of the sites, and I said to the boss, I'm like, "Hey, am I going to have access to the loading dock where you keep all your skip bins?" And they're like, "No, we're really sorry. They're going to put up a temporary wall. They're going to lock it from the inside because they're going to leave all their tools here every day. You can't get in there without like side inductions, hard hats, blah 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 blah, because it's an active construction zone. You'll have to take you'll have to take your stuff out through like the side door, go out the fire escape, walk around the back, and unfortunately, unless you're really quick, you got to like chock open the fire escape and run the risk of setting the alarm off if you're not fast enough, or you'll have to walk all the way around the block and come back in the front." I'm like, look, it's fine. It's only for 2 weeks. If I have to walk around the block once a day, whatever, not a big deal. On Thursday, I got in. They have now removed that part as well. They put up a temporary wall there too. So now I have to walk outside and all the way around, and then all the way back around to come back inside. I'm really shitty because it's been raining a lot in Geelong lately. So I've been getting real wet and shitty.
That's not very good.
But apart from that, I've got 1 week left. I shouldn't complain.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, I've had, as you mentioned, daughter's birthday party yesterday. It's on her actual birthday till the 23rd of December, but no one is available for a party that close to Christmas. It's just not doable. So yesterday we had some kids around. They had a big water fight.
400 water balloons later.
400 water balloons later. They're all still on my trampoline. It's like confetti exploded out there. But they had a good time.
Don't eat it, unlike my child.
And then today we took her bowling with the family.
Yeah.
So that was fun. She won. She beat her 2 cousins.
Oh, really?
Her 2 older cousins.
Nice.
They were very upset, but she was stoked. She's like, haha, I won.
I think last year we went bowling as well for her birthday, from memory. No, it was for Ali's birthday, your partner's birthday. Yeah, fantastic.
But yeah, just count down the days. 5 more days. 5 more days.
Nice.
What about yourself?
Yeah, not a whole lot to report this week, man. It's been pretty chill. I did manage to do a big hunk of Christmas shopping like yesterday, and I've already had a conversation with everyone. They've been like, "Hey, I'm super fucking poor. Christmas is a thing." I understand. I'm saying that just after I held off a PS Slim that's paid on a credit card. All right, it's 50 months interest free. That's the only way I could get around it, and it's also so I can benefit my son. But I'm poor as shit, so. Big part of it is like I'm just gonna get Christmas presents for my son. Everyone else, like key people, will get something, but like predominantly it's kids only.
So I should not be looking for something in my letterbox.
You say that though. Like I did actually have a conversation with Phoebe. I was like, I feel like I should get Max something. I don't know what, but I think Max, just a way of saying thank you, because another year of this bullshit. So. It's not when I said key people. You'll be considered within those key people. Or while I frantically Google fucking shit that Max likes.
This. I got my Christmas present.
Hey, I had nothing to do with that. Yes.
This.
Absolutely.
I mean, you could have fought me for it. You're like, so PlayStation sent it to me, not you. It's mine.
That's true, but that is being a right prick, and I'm that sometimes. Today wasn't that day. I was like, shit, I am keeping these side plates. Max can have the controller.
And then you can't use them.
Yeah. Then I give him, at least my son will get a massive kick out of it, and that's the best part. That is the best part. Oh shit! Yeah, look, nothing really to report. Work is work. It's that I'm not having much time off over the break, mostly because I've only been there 6 months. I don't have that much annual leave, knowing full well that I'm taking a week off in February to go to the wrestling. And the nature of my job being like community management, it doesn't really stop. Like people don't stop complaining and talking about things on socials just because you're not there. So. That's a big part of it. Hey, Sean. Hey, guys. I made a live show. How you doing, Sean? OG, Sean. He's been around forever. What a ledge. So aside from that, yeah, I wrote a before and after, because for those that don't know, I work for the Man Shake, the meal replacement shake. Part of what we do on our website is we tell before and after stories, like testimonials, people of how they've lost the weight, etc. So this week I spent most of the day writing one about Santa. So that was a lot of fun. Just the ability to let my absolute creative stupidity kick in, and I really enjoyed it. That was fun. But yeah, no, it's mostly just like getting a bunch of stuff pre-approved for the break, because obviously my manager will be off. So I was like, cool. So it's just kind of, sort of wrapping things up for the end of the year. Is pretty much where everything's at. But what we are, like, we've got a lot of show to go, so every city just fuck around for 15 minutes. Got a lot of things to get through tonight. We've got our Game of the Year discussions, which has zero value or credibility, but we do it anyway. Our Metacritic draft, which one of us is getting absolutely pummeled. This week in news, a bunch of other things. Before we even get there, though, Max, what have we been playing? What have you been playing this week?
Not much. I'm still hard on that Lego Fortnite.
Oh, yeah?
bandwagon. We are now on our 4th base. We have moved from grasslands to desert biome to now freezing mountaintop.
Why?
Because you essentially, so in the grasslands you get the materials that you need to get the get the tools that get you the resources for the next zone, and then the next zone, and then the next zone. So it's just the logical path. So you get the stuff to do the desert stuff from the Greenlands, and then from the desert stuff you go from there. So we've been exploring lava caverns and all that fun stuff, upgrading all our gear. We finally worked out that charms aren't as useless as they sound. Instead of having 3 hearts maximum, I now have 15. So I don't die in one hit anymore, which is awesome.
That is a substantial difference.
It was like Lego Fortnite Dark Souls at one point.
Which I'm sure made you incredibly happy.
Oh, it was great. So that's been fun. I'm back on my Rocket League grind with the start of the new season.
Yeah.
Diablo 4 has completely fallen off my bandwagon now that the season's ending in a couple of weeks. So I'm kind of like, I've done everything I can be bothered doing.
Mm-hmm.
Played a little bit more Destiny. Did the Warlords Ruin dungeon again last night. Successfully did it as a 2-man this time. We didn't fuck around. We didn't need the third. We knew what we were doing this time, which was cool. But other than that, I haven't really been. Oh, and I dabbled a little bit more in
Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora.
Ubitar Frontiers. Of
So
Pandora.
what? I had mixed feelings on it last week. How are you now that you spent some more time with it?
It's still not gripping me. It looks pretty, but everything feels clunky.
Yeah, it's weird.
I'm not I understand the premise of because I'm one of the Na'vi, right? That's what they're, yeah. But they have essentially superhuman strength because they're more than, they're alien.
They're more than meets the eye.
So when you tap X, you do a standard jump, but if you hold X, you can jump higher and further. But that doesn't play well when you're trying to fucking sprint and parkour. It's just like, and you'll fall off ledges most of the time because it doesn't activate the jump properly. It seems like there's a short delay in you releasing the button and the action taking place. I did double.
There's also a hover as well. You unlock shortly after you go jump, hover, which I always found inconsistent as well.
And then you mentioned last week that it defaults to quality mode. I did check to make sure I was playing on performance. I am, and it still feels sluggish.
Yeah.
The story's not gripping me. I find some of the combat fairly tedious because I'm playing explorer mode. Finding my way through things is sometimes tedious as well. It's like,
yeah.
I'm just like, it looks pretty, but that's about it.
So the problem that I'm having, as you mentioned, right? Like, it's the traversal. I understand, like, they've built this incredibly elaborate, like, foliage heavy location, which looks great, but the second you try to get through it, it's dumb. Like, it's so overgrown, as it would be, that you can't seem to where you go. And there are moments where the game has you feel like, as an RV, I should be able to just climb anything. But then very quickly you go, oh yeah, but not that one. Oh yeah, but not that. Not that.
Because like we've seen in trailers that it goes full open and you get flying mounts and you can fly around and it's full. But I'm not there yet. And at the moment, it seems too tedious to get there, which is a real challenge. So I'm still gonna keep playing it though.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Like,
it seems to be one of those slow to start games, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I guess originally wanting like Far Cry, but with Avatar, I don't feel it's that either, right? And maybe that's because I haven't found any vehicles or anything yet, which is kind of for me is a big part of Far Cry. But even then, like taking out bases and stuff just kind of feels, it's. I'm just not finding like the gunplay any fun. I'm not finding the story's not propelling me forward because there's all these people that I just don't know their name and or care for, which makes it really hard. They're like, "Who are you?" I'm like, "I don't know who you are, but should I care for you? Should I feel for you? Because I don't. My bad." But if you want a good story, Max, that makes you feel, that connects you with a character, you play God of War. And this week, I played and completed God of War Ragnarok Valhalla. In the latest little thing that gets PlayStation's weenie hard, roguelike is the thing. So this is a roguelike mode set in the God of War universe, with the idea is that you as Kratos go to Valhalla, or your personal Valhalla, with the idea of doing this trial to to learn something about yourself. The premise is a setup. It's not real, but this is all like the first 5 minutes, right? So the setup is that there's a letter that was put on your door 3 days ago to go to this location. You don't know what it is, why you're going there, etc. you get there, and then you speak to Freya. She realizes that you're there, and she goes, "Have you considered my offer? They considered my deal?" And I'm like, "I don't know what this deal is. This is insane." And then he's hesitant. Then you go through the door for the first time, and part of that first run is that you are informed that Kratos has been offered the role as the new Nordic god of war. Because Tyr's done, as we see from the events of Ragnarok, he's out. He's happy to chill. Now's the time for Kratos. So the story premise of the Valhalla is that he is running through his own personal Valhalla with the idea of reconciling. Well, the idea of the moment is that you use this to reconcile within yourself what it is, so that then you can pass into full blown Valhalla. Like it's that little, like it's like purgatory almost, right? Where you're destined to repeat it until you learn. So for Kratos, it's about processing that question. Can he be the god of war again? Can he sit on that throne? What, knowing full well the events of the past, and what does that mean for the events moving forward? There are things in this DLC. It's way more story driven than I anticipated, and once again, like every God of War game, I'm left crying at the utter emotional power of the storytelling of Santa Monica. Sorry. What it does, and what we've seen a little bit in Ragnarok as well, is this finds a way to tie together the events of God of War 1, 2, 3, and Ascension, as well as Chains of Olympus and Ghost of Sparta, into this new rebooted world. Because in 2018, it was all, this is a soft reboot of God of War. We're not saying the events before didn't happen. We're just leaving that behind. But then very quickly you start to realize the game is entirely about someone trying to escape that past, etc., etc. And here, he's now confronted with the idea of what happens if I do that again. We know what happened last time I was given, or I tried to be in this position. And yeah, it hit all the emotional beats for me. It's a lot of that big concept of, because even with myself and my story of my own attempted redemption, my own progress, my own change, I have such a hesitance, a reluctance for anything that connects me to the old version of me, the one I don't like. So the amount of symmetry between myself and this game, even in the same concept, is can I pick this up? What happens if I do pick this up again? Will I lose myself? The self I have now in all of this. It's fantastic. It's absolutely immaculate. Even then the gameplay's tight as well. So it's not an over elaborate roguelike either, or roguelite I should say, in that there's only two major realms. There's you have a middle boss, your mid boss, and then your big boss, and each of those realms, they're separated by your standard realms and your primordial realms. A little bit of Greece in there as well to sort of tie it all together. So for someone like you, Max, who has a love for roguelites, you may not get as much out of it because it's so story driven, and it's not about the game. The gameplay is there, the gameplay is strong, but it's not about doing it more and more and more and getting gear and going and going and going.
Yeah, so I asked a question shortly after it came out. I put it in the chat. No one answered.
I'll answer your question. What was your question?
Is it basically just more of the Certa trials? Is that the gameplay loop of it with a little bit of seasoning?
It's a little bit. In that the difference here is they've taken those trials, but they've added those roguelike elements, right? So you go in, you lose your armor is purely cosmetic now. You go in with your standard weapons, and then you go in and you take your list of your list of tasks. Then you have the ability to do some stat bumps, and then you roll a different you go in with a different shield, you go in with a different whatever the circle button was. That one.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, and then you've got your rage or your rage meter, right? Like you give me a 3, and the same as most roguelikes, like some of them in order to entice you to try different variants, like hey, you will get more of the currency of the tokens if you pick this one. So I'm like, all right, I'll go that one. Very similar to how Hades did it, right?
I've got it installed, downloaded and installed, ready to go. I made the mistake of booting it up on my account.
Yeah.
And very quickly realized that I played it on the PopC account.
Yeah.
So I've got to jump across to that and see it through. Because, I enjoyed God of War. I enjoyed Ragnarok. So it'd be nice to see how it all wraps up. I mean, I don't have that connection of, I didn't play any of the previous era God of War games. But yeah.
Yeah. So to expand on that a little bit, so the things that are changeable are your weapon stats, your perks or your glyphs, and then also your you know how you had your heavy and your light runic attacks, they're variable as well. So you go in, you clear a room, there's a chest, and then you can when you go into this little key area, it's like, hey, there's 2 doors. Door has a symbol on it. This one says that you're going to get a weapon glyph. This one says you're going to get a stats glyph. You're like, all right, well, I'm gonna pick a stat, because my base stats are pretty shitty right now. But once you build up your stats, when you're out in the currencies, I don't have to do that one as much. I'll focus on weapons, etc. So there is enough flexibility there to give it a whirl. And I didn't find the game, I was playing on the middle difficulty because it does have difficulty sliders as well. I didn't have too much of a challenge until the final boss on the final one, and it was hard. It was vicious for me. It took me 4 or 5 times, which is not but it's just me having such an easy run up into that point and then getting there. Yeah. But yeah, in the chat, MGB, I think they even tied into PS All Stars. They did tie it into PS All Stars. It's a little throwaway line from Mamiya, which is very cool. I think my brother is going to love the DLC once he finishes the story, as he loved God of War 2018. 100%. If you love God of War 2018 and you understand and you care about the story that they're telling, that the journey of this man, and that confrontation or that conflict within oneself of your past and what you've done and where you want and etc., then yes, yeah. If you care for Kratos as a character in any sense of the word, then this is unmatched. Beautiful. Love that. Other than that, the hiccups. I need to do a quick check of my app. What have I been playing?
The Baldur's Gate.
Oh, that's true. We did. So, we had a whole little setup. So, my mate Craig came around. He bought his PS5. We had a little so we had it felt very old LAN party, by the way. So he had we had a little TV with his PS5, and then we had the big TV, and we did 2 couch co-op. So it was myself, Craig, and my partner Phoebe. The 3 of us started the whole new campaign together. We channeled a character that Craig made in a D&D game that we played 1,000 years ago. It's Walter, the emo orc barbarian. So rather than the base of the original character, I can't do it so much in here, but the base of the original character is, rather than being charged by anger, he was charged by ennui. So whenever he got sad, he got stronger. Hence, Walter the emo orc, which is fun. Phoebe's character was based on a character from the book series she loves, The Magician by Raymond E. Feist. Jimmy the Hand. What?
I just finished that whole series for the 5th or 6th time.
You serious?
I'm a huge fan of those books. I have every single book.
Jesus Christ. Everyone loves this fucking book, apparently. Phoebe's watching the other room. I'm sure we'll see a comment.
My grandma got me into it years ago. I think I read Magician when I was 10.
So so Phoebe, one of the first things we ever talked about, when we got together, was, I love this book series. I'm like, yeah, I'll give it a go. I'm not a very good reader these days, but I'll try it. Never did it. But
Jimmy was my first rogue too in D&D.
Yeah, there you go. That's awesome. Yeah, so we started listening to the audiobook the other day, and it's fun. Actually, so hang on. Because the audiobook, the people,
Oh, dude, spoiler alert for the audiobook. One of the books has a different narrator than the rest of them.
Ah, Okay.
The second last book in the
Oh no. So, because in the first one, they talk about Pug and Tomas. When you read that, was it Tomas or Thomas? It's fucking Thomas, isn't it?
Yeah, like because I read it when I was young, and because I localized it to where I was, it was Thomas. But if you read their like appendagey crap, like in Lord of the Rings, it would be pronounced Tomas.
Ah, there you go. Yeah, because it was funny because Craig and Phoebe got into this like, nah, it's no way, it's Tomas. It's Thomas. It has to be Thomas. I'm like, there's a guy named Pug. There's a dragon with a dumb name. Like, there's a bunch of dumb names. So Tomas actually fits. And then they went, oh, there's a guy named Martin. I'm like, okay, Thomas is less weird now. But like, okay, well, Thomas and Martin, they're pretty common names. They should fit. But yeah, so Jimmy the Hand is the basis of her female elf thing, which is tons of fun. And Craig made a cleric. I think he named it Laquanda. And he did get a little racist with it, and we did give him shit the whole time. But he is adding depth to the character, so I appreciate it. So that was kind of fun, especially with Phoebe having never played any sort of RPG, let alone like a TRPG, let alone a CRPG. So, oh my god, my sunburn is fucking bad. You mow the lawns for an hour, and I get white boy burnt. It's bad. So like trying to like understand that of like the dialogue choices and like the strength buffs and the using the dice, and that was the whole thing. And Craig is just the fucking worst because he had to loot everything. I'm like, we've already looted it. Only one person can loot it. And he's like, I better check. I'm like, can we just get through this area? And then the one time that we do some looting, he just fucks off. And he's like, I'm in a fight. I'm like, why? So I walked too far. Like,
Sounds like my experience with Cass.
Yeah. Oh, it's bad.
Except it was, Max, where are you? I'm befriending these trolls. They're my trolls now.
It was fun though. So in that opening area when you find, for us it was Shadowheart in the capsule, and it's like, do you want to like try solve it? I'm like, no, I'm a barbarian. I'm just gonna rip the fucking door off, and I did. I was like, good. And then electrocuted. So that was a bit shitty, but like, I was proud. I got to do full blown character and just like yank that shit off. It felt really good, especially after playing like a fighter. And I did a bit of a run as a Styrian, but then I realized that I'm not going to see the performance of him. Because obviously him winning the actor winning the game award for this performance. I'm like, oh, I'm only going to be able to experience that if he's in my party, not if I'm playing as him. All right, so then I scrapped that save pretty quickly. But yeah, it's good fun. I hope to play some more of that over the break that I'm not having, but like I'll make some time. Yeah.
Been easy working from home.
Well, that's the thing. I'm working from home. All my managers are on leave. I'll just bring the PS5 in here. It's slim. I can move it now. Shane in the chat goes, be proud of me, boys. My girlfriend's PS5 has been in my apartment for less than a month, and I've finished Uncharted Lost Legacy and Kena Bridge of Spirits already. Ghost of Tsushima is on the list next. Dude, Lost Legacy rules. Kena Bridge of Spirits, fucking amazing. Cried so hard. Ghost of Tsushima, I love the idea of the game. Wasn't for me. You loved it.
Love the multiplayer. The raids were friggin' awesome.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Never did that though. Let's see. Was there anything else that I played? I played some Sonic Team Racing with my son. So once again with the whole GTA 6 trailer thing going on, I'm like, I'm gonna play Vice City. So I downloaded Vice City and I went, man, this map is really small. Everything handles kind of like bum, and all the story and cutscenes kind of poo. It's just like, because that didn't have that like storytelling flair, I guess, everything feels like this. It's like you come in, the guy's like, oh, yeah, and he sends you out, and then you just drive somewhere and go, bing, mission pass. I'm like, cool, let's go again, I guess. You know, it's, yeah. Mute the bad remastered Vice City, that is correct. The remastered version. But then again, the problems I'm having aren't about the remastering of it. These are base parts of the game. Like, don't get me wrong, in 2000 whatever, when Vice City came out, that game is unquestionably brilliant. And I still hold true to that. From my experience of it when I was a kid, brilliant. As an adult now, when I've played a bajillion games, 3 whole generations of games since the PS2, games have come a lot further.
It's very much a product of its time.
Yes. Like, it's come very, like, games overall have come very, very far. Max, that's enough of that. Let's get into what's been happening this week in the news. In the section we call Inform the Players. Tell you about what's happening this week in PlayStation.
Well, as always, we'll kick things off with some Sony news. This week we have the announcement of the games coming, the final set of games coming this year to PlayStation Plus Extra and PlayStation Plus Premium. In the extra tier, we have Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah!
On the back of the release of the GTA 6 demo.
Trailer.
We have Stranger of Paradise, the Final Fantasy Origin.
Oh, is that the... what do they bitch about that whole time?
Chaos.
The chaos. That's right.
Metal Hellsinger, Salt and Sacrifice, Moon Scars, Mega Man 11, Giga Bash, Grime, Tinykin, Prudius, Shadowrun Returns, Shadowrun Daggerfall Director's Cut, and Shadowrun Hong Kong Extended Edition. For Premium, we have Mega Man Legacy Collection and Legacy Collection 2.
I have always wanted to play Mega Man, so that's kind of a goodie.
They're great. Thrillville and Thrillville Off the Rails, and Buzz Lightyear of Star Command.
Buzz Lightyear. In the chat, MGB, they just wanted to surprise me with a certain PS2/PSP game. Thrillville Off the Rails, I'm going to play it so much of. Buzz Lightyear, I'll try again. It does like weird that we're getting a lot of Toy Story games. Like, there's all these PlayStation first party releases that we could totally get. Instead, we get Toy Story 2, 3, and Buzz Lightyear of Star Command. Why? For me, look, the big winner here is GTA 5. You and I have always ended up playing it over the holiday break at some point.
I think this is the first time that I haven't reinstalled it over the break.
Well, there is a new Chop Shop Maduva. I'd be keen. So if anyone is keen, in the description below, you can find my PSN. Add me, and we'll do some motorbiking and we'll do some things. It's been a while, but I'm keen to play it again. I do like GTA 5. The Metal Hellsinger is a big one for me. I didn't want to buy it because I wasn't like, I love the premise of it, the various metal musicians that are in there, like Matt Heafy of Trivium, I think Tony Campos of Static X is in there as well. There's a bunch of people that I like and enjoy. I was like, oh yeah, okay. But I didn't want to pay for it because I played the demo and I couldn't sync it up. I was like, meh. And then something else came out that got me distracted. Now, Salt and Sacrifice, though, Max. Which one is this?
It's the side-scrolling.
It's with a party-based soul side-scrolly one, yeah?
No, that's
Is that Salt and Sanctuary? No.
No, that's something different.
Slay the Spire.
No, it's not fucking. Shut up. It's not Slay the Spire. Salt and Sacrifice is just like these Dark Souls, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's the one. This is the one I've. Yeah, cool. All right.
Yeah.
I'll check out. Mega Man. Love how I just threw a bunch of.
I played Metal Hellsinger ages ago back on Games Pass.
Yeah, rate it.
Yeah, it's great.
What is your music genre of choice?
Oh, dude. If you look at my Spotify rap for the year, apparently I'm just like super into the Bluey soundtrack, Taylor Swift, and Minions.
That checks out.
Yep.
What is your actual music taste?
I'll listen to pretty much anything, man.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my music taste is about as ADHD as it could be. Oh.
Suck shit.
What happened?
I lost her phone down the back of the couch.
Suck. But yeah, like for me, I quite like my heavier music, so this is a bit of a given for me.
Like if like I still have my iPod from like high school where like all my songs, this is like Disturbed, Killswitch Engage, the Ailstorm, like yeah.
Yeah.
And then on the next one's like fucking Piano Man.
Oh, it's the same. Like my driving playlist, which I have on my old 160 gig iPod,
and get like fucking Whiplash from my playlist.
it's a hot mess. Like Phoebe can't take it sometimes. She's like, there's no, and like, because on top of that, it's the playlist is ADHD as all hell. How I respond to that playlist is ADHD as all hell. I'm like, skip. Like that's not the energy that I'm feeling. Skip. She's like, can you just fuck off? I'm like, yeah, but I need to be in the zone. I gotta be in the right thing. All right. So I may have made a bad decision, Max, of just getting a Slim. Because things are starting to heat up in the PS5 Pro rumor mills. Giant Bomb's Jeff Grubb, who has been a relatively reliable source of information, has made further comments on Sony's unannounced mid-step console, suggesting it's currently scheduled to arrive in about 9 months' time. Fuck. Dumb move, Ryan. Grubb comments that the recent PS5 Pro specs leak is about, quote, is almost certainly real, end quote, and is targeting a release in September 2024. The other key thing he talks about is the PS5 Pro's main new feature, said to be Sony's own version of NVIDIA's DLSS technology. It's essentially, this would allow the machine learning of super sampling images, resulting in enhanced resolutions and frame rates, better ray tracing, and so on. So DLSS at its core is a series, like a program's AI that will take a base image and have its ability to upscale it to where there are higher resolutions, better frame rates. It is a pretty hardware demand heavy system, hence why you don't see it on a lot of consoles, but a lot of high-end graphics cards tend to have it. But Grubb has also been fairly reliable talking about Game Awards things for the longest time, but it's still ultimately hearsay until we hear something. In the chat, MGB says, rumored at $600 US, although I'm expected to cost about $1,000 AUD, although that's just me guessing with how Sony. Yeah, it's going to be an expensive PS4, 5, fuck. It's going to be an expensive piece of tech. I think that's what I wanted to say. I don't know. It's going to be an expensive piece of tech. You and I have discussed this before. You weren't even open to getting the Slim. I only got the Slim for practical reasons. I had no interest in it, like, from a technical standpoint. PS5 Pro certainly does tickle my fancies because I did upgrade to PS4 Pro. You didn't.
I had an OG PS4 all the way through the entire generation.
And now Phoebe has it. Oh.
Surprised that motherfucker still works.
I don't think she uses it. She might use it to watch things. I don't think she's played a game on it in months.
But
speaking of games, you won't be able to play it.
Depending on the old Dollaritos and
it is one of those things where I'm like, I like the idea of being able to upgrade to it. I'll wait and see how it goes because as MGB says, it's probably going to be up in almost your 4 digits, and that seems ridiculous. Because I remember, unless they plan on price dropping the standard PS5 or now the Slim version, then
the standard PS5
which is now the standard PS5 now. So like that's the question. Like, if they reduce the price of this, then I don't see the PS5 Pro being up in that thousands, probably $800, $900, right? Where the standard price is what, $760, $799, something like that. So like it might be go from like $950 or something, or $999. Just be real dirty about it. But if they drop this down to $699 and then they make the PS5 Pro $799, $699 or $700, $750, $850, somewhere around there. It's probably the best way to get about it. Wait and see.
Well, it's cancelled. Naughty Dog.
We haven't even announced the console yet, Max.
Cancelled. Naughty Dog announced it literally this week.
Oh, what pricks! Who do they get to say when the PS5 Pro is or isn't coming? Huh? Say just come in and say this isn't going to work. You have to get rid of it. Who does that?
Bungie.
They do.
The Last of Us multiplayer project that we've all been waiting for has officially now been cancelled. Post on the developer's official website states, quote, "We have made the incredibly difficult decision to stop development on that game." I don't think it was incredibly difficult for you at all to say. Not do it. It continues, quote, "We know this news will be tough for many, especially our dedicated The Last
Especially Buddy Watson. They named him, like, specifically. It was really cool.
Buddy's fault that it got cancelled. He played way too much of the first Factions game. They're like, we don't need to make a new one.
He makes a second one.
Like hundreds of
Look at this one guy. He's killing it.
who have been following our multiplayer ambitions ardently. We're equally crushed at the studio as we were looking forward to putting it in your hands. It's then explained that the full scope of the project was only realized when it entered full production. Funny that.
See, that is a
developer-
load of ball bags, by the way. It has to, yeah.
To point where the developer could only choose one or two paths, quote, become a solely live service game studio or continue to focus on single player narrative games that have defined Naughty Dog's heritage. We are immensely proud of everyone at the studio that touched this project. The learnings and investments in technology from this game will carry on to how we develop our projects and will be invaluable to the direction we are headed as a studio. It baffles me that a studio of their size couldn't run a live service game and still develop other things once the live service game has been made and shipped.
I have a thought process on that. And like, granted, this thought process has been influenced from listening to other places. The short answer is Naughty Dog are too hands-on in a good and bad way, right? Even down to what we saw with The Last of Us Part 1 remake, what will be The Last of Us Part 2 remaster. Like, they could have probably given that to somebody else, yet they went, oh, we're going to do it. We're going to do it in-house. So I imagine the same goes here. They could have set this up and then given it out and go, content's going to be filled by another team. However, in order for this to meet the same either standards or expectations from The Last of Us and from Naughty Dog, the expectation is that it is a very story-heavy, character-driven games as a service. Most games as a service don't tend to do that, or well. And if you want to have the level of quality that Naughty Dog have created, you need to give your everything to that production. And I think that's where it stems from. And the concerning part about this, and as mentioned, is what I think is absolute ball bags. They're essentially saying that this game has been in pre-production for the last 5 years. Because once it hit active production, we went, oh no, implying that like that's just happened. We were told that we were going to see the game this year. And if it's in pre-production, why would you show us shit now? There's a little bit of obfuscation, a bit of the truth being pushed to the side a little bit there, which is a downside. However, the thing that makes me most interested about this, Max, is to their credit, I do appreciate them going, hey, we ain't going to do a half-assed job of this. Like, if we were going to do this, we would have to give it everything, but that does come at the cost of everything else that we do and what we're known for, and we're not quite willing to sacrifice that.
Well, before we get too deep into that, do you want to read the next story because it's related to Naughty Dog and what's going on? Because there's some, what I believe to be discrepancies between their statements.
Awesome. Alongside confirmation that it has cancelled Last of Us multiplayer, as we just discussed, Naughty Dog sought to reassure fans by confirming it has, quote, more than one, end quote, ambitious single-player title in the works. The studio admitted that, had it followed through its live service plans, would have had to ditch this type of titles it's known for, and ultimately was prepared to do that. Instead of its online universe, then, it has multiple solo adventures in the works, quote, the learnings and investments, as we mentioned in the previous statement, we have more than one ambitious, brand new single-player game that we're working on here at Naughty Dog, and we cannot wait to share more about what comes next when we are ready.
So they can work on multiple titles at once, just as long as they're not multiplayer titles.
Yeah.
So which is it? They can only work on one thing at a time, or they can work on...
I think they can only work on one genre, one format at a time. Because, no, I would agree. I would argue that there is a difference between an online game, a multiplayer game, and a single-player game. In that, the way a single-player game works, it's a confined story. It's, so you can transition people in and out, right? Like, so you have your pre-production team. Once pre-production's done, they go on to the next project, right? So technically, therefore, two projects. But if you're with a live service game that is constant and you must constantly be in various pre-productions because of the next DLC, the next season, like you never get off that project. So in the same way, let's just say, example, they're working on Last of Us Part 3 and Uncharted 5. Let's say. you can have the ability, like depending on which started first, the pre-production of Uncharted 5 wrapped up, active production, move that team to Last of Us Part 3. Beautiful. Done. You do have 2 projects going, but because they're at different spaces, different times, they may coalesce. They may work in synergy, right? Now, saying that though, part of the reason that, during Last of Us original and Uncharted 4, I think it was, they were doing them both at the same time. And that caused a lot of problem in the team. So they eventually became a one-game team again. But now there seems to be back to a multi-team. And then once again, if to your point, pardon me, they've been able to release Last of Us Part 1 remake, Last of Us Part 2 remastered, all while working on this multiplayer game in an alleged pre-production capacity. Ow. However, in a world where we get development houses and publishers just straight farting out live service games, thinking that they can just do it and it would land, and then just murdering it shortly after, part of me likes at least that self-understanding to go, yeah, maybe not, eh?
Mm.
Because that at least tells me that there is some pride in the brand to go, we have a reputation to uphold. We will stick to what we know. Let's focus on the TV show, Neil, and we'll focus on Part 3. We'll keep Last of Us as it is. But Horizon, get fucked. You're getting 18 different Horizon things. What's your thoughts, Max?
Yeah, it's a bit like that. It'll be interesting to see, because obviously we know that 6 of the 12 live service games have been canned now. Who knows what's going to happen? Yeah. But what we do know, what happened this year, is the PlayStation wrap-up.
Before we do that, though, let's jump in the chat. MGB jumps in and goes, online focus group games are hard to keep people interested. Like for an IP like The Last of Us, it would probably be tricky for them to keep regularly updated with content people would like. I would agree.
I mean, tell that to the people who are still playing Factions 1, who hasn't had an update in like 4 years.
Minimum. Shane Bailey goes, it's so odd. Oh, I just realized Shane changed their handle. It used to be MagicCast, and now it's Shane Bailey. Nice. It's so odd that there's this reasoning. If it's true, it's the most predictable problem ever. The reason you pursue live service is to maximize profits over the long term. Quote, we want to make money from live service games. Oh, that requires servicing a live game? Oh, forget that then. But, we talk about this all the time, right? Like, all these live service games come out thinking they can just dump them and run. And then what we see is a bunch of people that, fumble it at launch, and they're spending the initial time just chasing up on what they've fucked up at launch. So they never get ahead of it. And unless you launch bang on, which I'd like to see anyone try, even the most successful ones fumbled their entrant. Bungie, GTA 5, I don't know, Valorant was pretty poopy. Apex was, I think, fine-ish. You know what I mean?
OG Destiny launched pretty well. Yeah. They had DLCs that came out that were hit and miss.
But yeah. I don't know. Once again, even Bungie, they're talking about things like, they ain't the best peoples right now. But as you were saying,
everyone's doing it. Spotify Wrapped, PlayStation Wrapped, Xbox Wrapped. Everyone's doing it. How were your numbers this year?
Oh, all right. Let me pull up my digits, my deets.
While you're pulling yours up,
hot.
My top 5 games this year. Number 1, Call of Duty.
Checks out.
Number 2, Destiny 2. Rocket League came in number 3. Lords of the Fallen number 4. And Remnant 2 coming in at number 5. At 450 hours playing Call of Duty, which I'm sad to say was almost half of my 972 total hours played this year.
Well, an interesting thing, it updates. Because I looked this a couple days ago. Well, I did it on Wednesday, and it said my total amount of games I played was 142. And since now playing, Avatar, it's 143. That's cool. Interesting. So, yeah, for where I am... So that was your top 5, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, let me find my top 5. So, my top 5, from 5 to 1. Number 5 was Hogwarts Legacy on PS5. Number 4 was Marvel Spider-Man 2. Number 3, Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales. That's 100% my son. Number 2, Minecraft. Well, he and I play that game together, so automatically it doubles. Like I play it on PS5 and PS4 because he would use my PS4 account. I play on PS5, so for us, we play it together. That makes sense. And then the most game I've played this year, which makes absolute sense because I play it every Thursday for a number of hours, is WWE 2K23 because of all the all our GM mode nonsense.
Yeah.
So how many games did you play this year, Max? What was your total? Now the problem that you have is you have to combine your numbers between you and the PopC account.
Yeah. I don't have my phone on me. Where did I say? Where did I send these photos? It was in the hundreds. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, 143 apparently was my games this year, which is not too bad.
God, we talk so much shit in this chat.
Oh, we totally do. Which, like, it's interesting. Like, I have... Now, I assume that accounts for all games that I've played, right? And once again, because I share my account with my son...
apparently, I played 57 games.
Yeah, year. Okay. Well, that tells you something, because if I have a little tracking list that I keep a record of all the games that I've played and ones that I've finished, and we're looking at about 41, right? So 41 games that I played this year that I've actively connected. There's no way, I don't know where those other 100 came from, but my son does dick about in PS Plus a lot. So he probably just downloads a bunch of games.
And the first game I played this year was on the 2nd of January, and I played Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion.
No, mine was Call of Duty. I think I was playing DMZ. Let me see. Let's go down the line. Apparently, Brawlers is my genre of choice.
Mine was marksman or shooters.
Yeah, I think that's just because I played, what was it? A lot of WWE.
Yeah.
All right. What was your total hours?
927.
986. Once again, I blame my child because most of that. So, because it says 56 point...
And that also doesn't include what I played on the PopC account.
Correct. So I've got 56.49% of the game was on PS5, where 43.51% of the time was played on PS4, which tells you it was my son because he's that guy. 1.62% played on VR.
Shot in the chat, COD 510 hours, 100% DMZ. Yeah, all my 450 hours are in DMZ. And Shane with 700 hours in Forza Horizon for me. I also managed to put 400 and something hours into Forza as well this year, apparently.
I don't know how it knows this, but it knew my favorite DualSense is my purple one. That's odd.
It updates your controllers. It would know.
Yeah, it'd have to know which one it is, what model it is, yeah. About Tros.
I don't have that picture saved. And I don't have it on me. It's charging.
628 trophies, apparently.
Yeah.
Nice. 2 platinums this year.
I got no platinums this year.
What the hell are my 2 platinums? Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
And...
something else lame.
Hello Neighbor 2. Do you enjoy these wrapped things?
Yeah. It's a good reflection of probably how too much I actually play.
Well, apparently I did 96 hours in multiplayer, which makes sense, playing with my son and with you in the DMZs. And for me, seeing as I now share my account, I instantly don't take the numbers as legit. I go, yeah. A year ago when my son was, he wasn't as into games as much, I was like, oh, cool, because these numbers check out. All right, nice. But now I'm like, I don't know. I'm in the same boat as you because you PopC account, so the account for the channel, and then your own personal account, it's a hot mess, absolute hot mess. But let's jump into something else bit interesting here, Max. So Kojima, we've got 2 stories about him in different little movies, right? So Disney Plus has conquered when it comes to acquiring exclusivity on Halo. On Hideo Kojima's hotly anticipated documentary. Announced a little while ago and premiered at the Tribeca Film Festival early this year, Hideo Kojima Connecting Worlds is scheduled to release globally in spring of 2024. Now, granted, I believe that is our autumn, so early-ish next year.
Mm-hmm.
The feature documents the ex-Konami auteur's rise from the ashes as he founded a new company following his heavily publicized departure from the Metal Gear Solid publisher Konami. Kojima went on to sign a publishing deal with PlayStation where he developed the bold hiking delivery adventure Death Stranding, and a sequel is currently in the works. In addition to detailing the industry icon's influences and thought processes, it also includes, quote, shots from the early days of our independent studio, memories from my childhood, and my creative journey, end quote. In case you missed it earlier in the year, you can check out the first trailer from the documentary.
That copy and paste.
Man, I want to watch the shit out of this.
That was cool.
I don't want to wait this long. I want it now.
And then shortly after that, film studio A24 has revealed that it is partnering with Kojima Productions to bring the live-action movie adaptation of Death Stranding to the big screen. A24 has a long track record of distributing quality films with its back catalogue, including Everything Everywhere All at Once.
What a movie!
Gems, Lady Bird, Hereditary, and Midsommar. Beyond today's news, we know Hideo Kojima will be involved, but he won't be directing the movie itself. Instead, he is, quote, deeply involved in producing, supervising, plotting, look, design, and content of the film's adaptation.
So he's the Neil Druckmann to The Last of Us for this.
Correct.
Would you watch this movie?
Yes.
Yeah, hell yeah. I'm so moist for this movie. Oh.
My son's too old to be the BB, though. And Ali also wouldn't give consent.
No chance.
He's like, no.
Yeah.
No creepy babies.
It's funny though. I am still trying to find one of the BBs from the collector's editions because I want one real bad. I want to put it on the shelves behind me. Having to explain to Phoebe why I want a baby in a jar was a weird conversation. And then I tried to explain to her the plot of Death Stranding, and that didn't help. That just made it worse.
That was a weirder conversation.
Yeah. I was like, this is why it means. And she's like, she gave me that look of, what the fuck is wrong with you? Which I get a lot, so I know how to tell that look pretty quickly. But in the chat, MGB jumps in and goes, the Kojima doco does sound amazing, but A24 doing Death Stranding is amazing. Everything Ever All at Once is my favorite movie of all time. Yes, it is absolutely that good. I adore that movie to no end. The Mullet Show is not the weirdest conversation we've had this week even. Not even the conversation I have this today. A24 is no doubt like the best development studio to get on board with this. They have really backed like some of the weirdest movies. Pardon me, and they're the place for your auteurs, for your more creative ideas, I guess, something that you wouldn't get in the major, larger distribution houses. So it makes perfect sense. Absolute incredible pairing. Quick bits. The Final Fantasy 16 dev team has been disbanded, allegedly. Now, I think that might be a problem with translation because disbanded means they got kapoofed, but I think they just got moved on to other projects.
They've all split up doing different stuff.
They didn't all get fired.
Now they've wrapped 16. Once the second lot of DLC is completed, they will all be moved on to the next thing.
Remember when they were like, no patches, no DLC?
Yeah.
Fucking liars. Also, not really. The game was just that popular. They kind of got put into a position.
Yeah.
And PDP, makers of the Rock Band and Guitar Hero guitar. Oh no, I think
just Rock Band.
Yeah, Mad Catz did Rock Band Guitar Hero. So PDP, makes of the Rock Band guitars, tweeted this week about guitars possibly coming for Fortnite Festival.
I mean, they said that was 100% real.
Yeah. So look, I didn't talk about it at the start. I played the Fortnite Festival, and initially I went, because it hit the part of my brain that loves Rock Band, and then very quickly it went, this track list sucks, and the song's really expensive, and it's not as fun without the controller. And like, especially for myself, having like 1,500 songs in my Rock Band, because I've got all 4 of them plus spin-offs plus years of DLC. To then have to pay for like Buddy Holly by Weezer again, I'm like, get fucked. And then it's more. No, thank you.
Yeah.
I saw someone on Twitter today being like, "Yeah, but you get the game and you get you get the song and you get it on guitar and what?" I'm like, that's the same as the regular DLC, you fuckhead. Like that's the same. Like, you get all 4 tracks, quote unquote, of the one song in Rock Band for $1.49, $2.50 at most. Shut your hole. They are overcharging you for useless nonsense. It's the same amount. It's the same dollar value as an emote. And everyone's like, "Oh, look how much more you get than an emote." That doesn't make it better. That means that that emote is more expensive than it should be.
Yeah.
God damn. That's all the news this week.
Draft time,
Max. So I sent Max through the list of our games, of our draft games. Max, before we do anything, can you please run through what was on your list? Not the results, just your
my list. My list this year was Spider-Man 2, Hogwarts Legacy, Diablo 4, Dead Space Remake, Final Fantasy 16.
Yep.
Street Fighter 6. Dead Island 2. Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth.
Okay, so for everyone playing at home, this is our Metacritic draft. Essentially what we do is at the start of the year, we reach out to our listeners, our viewers, our community, and go, "Hey, give us a bunch of pool games," and we pick 8 each. So then we can't just pull games out of our asses. It has to be what is given to us. Right? There's the thing. And then we equate their Metacritic score. Now, if there's a PS5 and a PS4 version, we get the PS5 version. If not, there's that's the one. That's the way how it works. We'll go to the results.
Your list,
my list.
Yep. We had Resi 4.
Nice.
Jedi Survivor.
Nice.
Suicide Squad.
Fuck.
Hollow Knight Silk Song.
Fuck.
Destiny 2 Lightfall.
Fuck.
Forspoken.
Fuck.
AE Dub.
Fuck.
The fuck's this last
Atomic
one?
Heart.
Atomic Heart. I wrote
Fuck.
Yeah.
So Sean a second ago goes, "I couldn't read it, but I think Ryan won." No, I didn't. Ryan did real bad. He did not do well. Go through the scores. What was the highest on your list?
The highest on my list was Street Fighter 6.
Yeah.
92.
Well done. And your lowest?
My lowest was Dead Island 2 with 73.
That's pretty good. Like a 9s and 7, between 7 and 9s. That's pretty tight.
Your highest was Resident Evil 4 with 93.
Thank you. My lowest, excluding the ones that didn't come out this year because they are instant zeros,
was Forspoken and AEW both receiving 64s.
Ball bags. I had so much higher expectations on what AEW Fight Forever was going to be.
All right, we'll do yours first.
Yep.
So Resident Evil 4, 93.
Thank you.
Jedi Survivor, 85.
Okay.
Suicide Squad, big ol' 0.
Nah, didn't come out.
Hollow Knight Silk Song, big ol' 0.
Didn't come out.
Destiny 2 Lightfall, 69.
Rough. Also nice.
64 for Forspoken and AEW.
Gross.
And Atomic Heart receiving a 70, with your average being 55.6.
Those 2 zeros rightly fucked me up.
I had Spoots 2 with a 90.
Yeah, good one.
Hogwarts Legacy, 84.
Yeah, that's better than, once again, better than we would have thought with all the contention, but no, okay.
Diablo 4, 88.
Mm-hmm.
Dead Space, 89. Final Fantasy, 87.
Fuck.
Final Fantasy 7, 0. Street Fighter 6 with its 92. And Dead Island 2 with a 73, giving me a total of 75.7. Nailed it.
I think, are we 2 apiece now?
We are 2 apiece. We've alternated wins.
Yeah, every year it's bang, 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 bang. But that is absolutely well done. Well done. So, like...
I think that's been the biggest margin, though.
Yeah, that is the biggest margin out of the 4 years we've done this. Well done. You did swing pretty well. I tried to go fancy with it and, like, pick some, what I thought were little sneaky indies that might do good.
I thought I was losing the entire year because I thought I picked Suicide Squad.
No. I think you picked him last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right, because you had him last year and I had Gotham Knights, and then I got reamed because of it. Because that game was also subpar. So we'll be doing that again in the... Oh, yeah, what do we win? Because Sean in the chat goes, well, what do you win? Get your lawn mowed? I mowed my lawn today, which doesn't matter because I have to mow your lawn. Holy shit, your lawn sucks.
Finally mowed my lawn like 2 weeks ago. It's already fucking.
No, we didn't. How did we have a prize on the line for this
No,
one?
I don't think we had a prize.
Because we did do a prize for our backlog. We never cashed in because you didn't do any of it, and then I felt bad for you, and then I was like, yeah.
It was like, my backlog sucks. I can't believe I agreed to finish Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
That was pretty dingy of you. Sean goes, I think Suicide Squad is going to get a low score anyway. We can't talk about it. But I disagree. Yeah. All right. But yeah, look, I fucked up. I fucked up on that one, but...
Yeah.
But yes, we'll be here. So once again, keep an eye out early January. We'll be opening up the things for getting our collective pool again. It'll be here on Twitter, in our Discord, and the community group on Facebook we never use, and the page that we brought back but I never use. So we'll find a way to collate, even if it's in the comments of a video.
Poll.
Do a community poll in the YouTubes maybe. What's that?
Poll.
What?
Twitter poll. You can do a Twitter poll.
No, sorry. The noise gate kept cutting in and out. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. Now let's get into... Let's send this home. Let's wrap this up with our Game of the Year awards. It is noticeably more prestigious than the Game Awards because we have no advertisements and we will talk about the games. There are no world premieres here. It is just what we think about these games. Now, we have 4 categories. These categories are Game of the Year, Best Independent, Best Game of Not This Year. So the idea, that's the Josh Saunders in memoriam Game of Not This Year award, because he had this really good ability to play games that didn't fucking come out that year. He goes, can I make that my Game of the Year? It's like, that came out 3 years ago, you dickhead. No, it can't happen. So we had the Josh Saunders Memorial category, and then the not best games of the year, which is the nice way of saying these games were a little bit shit. Now, Max, I am aware that you haven't made a list.
Yeah, no, I totally forgot.
You have winners, but you don't have lists.
So I want to ask the question.
Yes.
My Game of the Year is currently not a PlayStation title. Is that cool?
No.
I mean, it came out on PlayStation, but I didn't play it on PlayStation.
Then that's fine.
Fun fact: it's the same award for independent as well.
Clean sweep. All right. Well, in that case, let's go. Best game of
default, 'cause I think it's the only independent game that I've played this year.
Well, then let's go best game of not this year. So the idea is that we have 3 nominations of each one, and then the winner. So. Now, admittedly, I did this afternoon because I totally forgot about it. So not all of them have 3. So the 2 games that stood out to me the most on my list of games that I have played this year that caught my attention, that were the best games of not this year. My nominees were, and I'll break them down in just a moment, Alan Wake Remastered.
Oh shit, we're going to have the fucking same one.
And Gas Station Simulator. Yeah. Okay. So, Alan Wake Remastered was... I remember Alan Wake, the remaster came out when I was living with you. And you're like, Alan Wake fucking rules. You should play it. And I tried, and it just didn't land. I think it's because of the circumstances of that time and whatever. I couldn't give the game my everything. Coming back to it now, playing it again this year, I went... This game's fucking brilliant. The storytelling of it all, like finding I just wanted to keep moving forward to find more transcript pages and pick it up and just see what it was. And like, is it something that's happened? Is it happening? Is it the future? Like, what the hell? Even down to finding a page early on when then you realize towards the end of the game, like, this is the end of the game. It told me in like the first 45 minutes. This is incredible. And the way it used, like, even the remaster, like the way that they used lighting was incredible. The character design was kind of fun and interesting. There's a lot of really good things that set up into Alan Wake 2. Now, full disclosure, Alan Wake 2 does not make my list even though I'm really enjoying it, I don't believe I've played enough of it to to adequately put it on the list and feel confident about it. So I just made the list. Now, I assume Alan Wake Remaster is on your list also?
No, it's guessed it. No. I will give you two. Mine would be Alan Wake Remaster because I also played it, and it's a cheap one, but it's one of my most played games every single year. Gotta give it to Rocket League, man.
You give it Rocket League, like this must be the best ongoing game award for you.
I think it's the only game I'm married to now.
Yeah.
I've given up on Destiny.
Well, then give me your gush about
Rocket.
Alan Wake Remastered for me then.
Look, so I first played Alan Wake when it came out as an Xbox exclusive way back in the day. I've always loved Alan Wake. I liked the gameplay. I loved the gimmick mechanic it had of everything revolves around the light. You need to bring these things into the light so they become real. Then you can deal with them. That whole system and like you mentioned with the manuscripts being past, present, and future, it just told its story in such an interesting and intriguing way that it kept you wanting more. It kept pulling you forward, and there was always something unexpected to happen. Even though you, like you mentioned, even though you've read the manuscript, you don't see it happening until it's already happened. It was just such a fantastic way to play a game, which is a real shame because I still haven't played Alan Wake 2 yet.
And even the ending, I liked the ending in that it wasn't this big fuck off boss. It just kind of an event and then it ends. I'm like, oh, that's rad.
Cliffhanger, yeah.
Because you expect like this peak, right? And then big boss, and sometimes that big boss doesn't feel right. Like even they managed to work it in the overarching story of the Arkham trilogy, but at the end of Arkham Asylum, when like the Joker's this big Titan motherfucker, you're like, why? That makes no sense. And then in the second game, you're like, oh, he's poison bite. That's dope. All right, cool. Thank you. Consequence. I love it. But as mentioned, the other game in my list was Gas Station Simulator. So I found this game on a random Markiplier video. I was like, Gas Station Simulator, what the hell is this? And I saw it, and it caught my attention. I'm like, ooh. This could be interesting. And it got me in the same way that I think I might put House Flipper on this list too. Yeah, House Flipper made the list too. So in the same way that House Flipper got me, I found Gas Station Simulator to be this really good in the middle game. Like when I'm jumping between two bigger games, I got to find something that cleanses me in that middle. And I found Gas Station Simulator was that. I enjoyed simply painting my gas station, stocking the shelves, which I actually did. When I used to work in retail, I hated all these things. I don't know why I like it. I liked working on the car and running the business and having the staff, and like it hit the same part of my brain that I loved within farming simulators, right? Because it's just spreadsheet the game, and this is spreadsheet the game, but you have to actually go in there and take all the screws off the tire before you replace it. You've got to manually restock the shelves and sweep the floors, and I don't know what it is about those kind of games that just get me sometimes. And like even sometimes, I think I can't remember what game released around that time, and very similar to House Flipper, you're like, hey, you should be playing Alan Wake 2. I'm like, yeah, but I'm playing House Flipper, motherfucker. Like, and the same thing happened, like, hey, you should be playing Y. And I was like, but I'm playing Gas Station Simulator. It got to a point where you messaged me going, are you playing anything else right now? So for that reason, even though I loved Alan Wake Remastered, Gas Station Simulator takes the win for me this year as best game of not this year. Congratulations to the team, Gas Station Simulator, for an award that you neither know about nor care about. So which is the winner for you, Rocket League or Alan Wake?
It's Alan Wake.
Alan Wake. Okay, well done. Well, then let's head into mostly because, as you mentioned, your best independent and your game of the year are likely connected. Let's get into the not best game of the year, a game that you believe. And also, if you're watching and listening in the chat or on the podcast, be sure to leave a comment below. Get involved. Let us know what your best games of not this year that you've played. So an example, like Shane Bailey, if you follow him on Twitter, he has been sharing like his back catalog as well. He's been going through his backlog and sort of sharing that as well. So let us know if there's anything that jumps out to you.
This category is really hard.
Yeah, so we have the distinct advantage that we get to, like, the nature of what we do is we get access to games.
We do have this privilege where we tend to only play the games that we want to play.
Because we ask, and we go, yeah.
And most of the time, because we want to play them, we enjoy them.
Yeah.
Because we kind of cherry pick what we play. So, and as cop-outy as that sounds, unfortunately, I didn't play fucking Golem this year, so I can't take it.
Oh, you really wanted to, eh?
I really wanted to. I was so keen for it, I'm not going to lie.
So what do you have a short list at all?
Not really, because I've enjoyed every game I played this year. And like yeah, I don't know, man.
So I have 3.
Yeah, 3.
And a lot of them, like, the games themselves may not be bad, but like they left a sour taste in my mouth, whether it be broken expectations or they didn't deliver on what it appeared
I have
to
one.
be.
I have one, and I can give it to you.
Well, we'll do mine, and then we'll drop yours. So this is in order. So in number 3, it's Horizon Call of the Mountain.
Oof.
It should have been the flagship game of the PSVR 2. I played it like once, and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. It's fine. But then as the more I played, it got a bit repetitive. I'm like, okay. And then I have no compulsion to go back. Nothing within me goes, oh, I want to see that through. And it's a Horizon game. It's one of like once again, it's the game that came with the PSVR 2. Like, we should feel connected and want to care. Sadly, didn't happen. Number 2 is AEW Fight Forever. There's a reason I put it on my Metacritic draft list. It's because apart from being a massive wrestling fan, I had a belief that this game was going to be something. The way they spoke about it, the way they talked about it, this looked to be the best wrestling game that could be made. Throwback to the older games from arcadey fun, but also mixing it with the brand of AEW, which is quite strong, has gone through a lot over the last couple of years. And there's your problem. A lot has happened in that brand in the last couple of years. And for whatever reason, because this game was truly meant to come out last year, but didn't, you really felt that. In that this campaign was the first year of the brand. We're in now year 5. So it felt so out of touch. The character, the choice, the amount of wrestlers in the game was subpar. And then they had the gall to have an Ultimate Edition, which had more DLC, which gave you 6 different extra wrestlers over a year. They've just announced season 2, and you're like, well, why would I want to buy this? Mm-hmm. Then on top of that, there are moments where the game looked great, but 85% of the time, it looked like shit. Like, the character models looked nothing like their wrestling counterparts. Now, don't get me wrong. Unlike WWE 2K, which has such a huge, like, money, cachet, they've been doing it for years. The team behind AEW Fight Forever, Ukes, were the ones doing those WWE games for forever. So they had a development team that should know what they were doing. Yet for whatever reason, whether it was crunch or COVID or a number of different things, they did not deliver on what they promised. And as a result, the game was subpar. It was fine, but it really underdelivered in everything that it sought to set out to be different. My number 1. And not just because it fucked me in my draft pick, which it actually didn't, because I think AEW fucked me more. Atomic Heart.
Actually, AEW was scored lower than Atomic Heart.
Yes, I was going to say. Yeah, I thought it was Atomic Heart, but it wasn't. AEW was. Yeah. So it's Atomic Heart. Atomic Heart hit me because the game looked visually insane. It looked brilliant. I was like, cool. This is interesting. This kind of like this alternate dystopian future of like, well, what if, World War... Very similar to like Wolfenstein and the idea of like what happened if the Nazis won. This has that same alternate future. And then you start playing it and you realize, A, it sucks, and 2, like, it is just bad. Even down to like a fridge that is all sexualized and trying to hit on you. Like... And the main character is the most 2003 edgelord thing you could have ever written. But the gameplay doesn't save it. Like visually, yeah, it's pretty rad and unique, especially that opening sequence. But once you get past that, you go, this all kinds of sucks. So Atomic Heart, you are not the best game of this year.
My 3 in number 3 spot is Atomic Heart for all the reasons you've just listed. Number 2 was Wild Hearts.
Oh yeah,
The Wild Hearts was EA's take on Monster Hunter, but they added extra build mechanics and it got weird real quick. It didn't sit right. If I just completely ignored the build mechanics, the game was fine. But unfortunately, you kind of have to use them in some of the encounters, and it was just like, it added to the tedium of the gameplay. But for me, the worst game this year was Minecraft Legends.
That came out this year?
Yeah.
If I remembered that, because I did play that this year with my son. I don't know why it was on my list. It should have been on my list.
In like April, I think.
Really?
Let me double check just in case I made myself look like
I swear that came out last year. Excuse me, my apologies.
Minecraft Legends came out in April 2023. April 18th.
Wow. I thought it was way older than that, and mostly because it feels like a really old bad game.
Yeah, I love Minecraft. They turned it into a fucking top-down isometric dungeon crawler, and it's
but with none of the fun parts of like it. Don't get me wrong, it is a great baby's first isometric dungeon crawler. Like my son loves it, and we've played it a lot over this year because for him he likes the loot grind in a world that he knows and understands. I want to pull my eyes out. Good answer. Good pick. Hey, Minecraft Legends, you are not the best game of this year. All right, best independent game. Now, I'm going to have 3 here. I have yet to pick a winner. So I'm going to read them all out. I'm going to decide at the end.
Yeah.
First on the list is Sea of Stars. So Sea of Stars was a game that surprised me. And it was free on PS Plus, so that made it easy and interesting for me to jump into it. I was like, okay, cool. Let's fuck around with this a little bit. This is not really my kind of game. It is a JRPG, especially an old school Super Nintendo-ass JRPG. I instantly adored it. Instantly. So much so that became the game that I spent more time on than anything. Once again, you messaging me going, hey, you really into that Sea of Stars game, eh? Because my ADHD ass is like, you see, if you follow me, you're like, bang, 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 what the fuck am I playing at the moment? What am I playing over here? What am I playing over there? And then from Max go, wow, Ryan's really only played like one game. That's something of worth of note. But yeah, I really loved the characters in this. I actually felt compelled to see the story through. Now, don't get me wrong, at least for me, I felt it overstayed its welcome. It was longer than I think it could have and should have been. However, with a little bit of trimming, it would have been bang on. But once again, that could more align with the sensibilities of that older JRPG energy that just isn't for me. So I'm counting on that. Like that may not be in that space. The second one was Dredge. I checked Dredge out earlier in the year when it dropped because it was just getting nothing but praise, and I was like, I'm gonna give this a boo. And the idea of this like dredger boat thingy scooting around the ocean, and then suddenly you've got this who's the guy that made like fucking Call of Cthulhu? Turns out he's a giant racist. Lovecraft. So yeah, you're going across this little ocean, checking out little things with nothing but this huge Lovecraft undertones, but without all the inherent racism. It was really cool. Like, you know, as night kicked in and the fog thickened and you're just having this impending doom of like, can I make it across the bay? Will I be able to traverse the waters and not get blown apart by some giant fucking creature? It was awesome. Did I finish it? No, because I got distracted and sort of wandered off somewhere else. But there is DLC out for it now, which certainly has my attention. I would love to go back. And the third one, which I'm starting to think may be the winner. I backed this game on Kickstarter like 2 years ago, and then I totally forgot about it until I got an email being like, bing, here's your key. I was like, oh yeah. And that game is Coral Island. So Coral Island is a farming sim that sort of takes all the love, all the benefits of all the things of your Stardew Valley, of your Harvest Moon, your Story of Seasons, any of those games all kind of coming together. But they've been able to add extra layers on it as well, which I really appreciate. So you have the cave which you can go and explore and get all your ores, but it's got that bit of monster hunting in it that you see in the Stardew Valley. And then you've got a huge community with a bunch of different characters that you can go and romance and smooch, like very Harvest Moony. And the design of it all is really pretty as well. It's bright, it's colorful. It's not that sort of chibi art that you see in a lot of Story of Seasons or Harvest Moon games as of late. They've kind of taken this interesting Disney-esque / a little bit of anime energy, and I find the character designs really appealing. Not in a sexy way, but there's one dude who looks very lovely. He's like, okay, that guy. But no, it hits all the trappings of a great farming sim, or like not a hardcore farming sim, but that more enjoyable farming setup with a bunch of great ability to upgrade, bunch of great things. Game's fantastic. Absolutely adore it. And because it's a farming sim, it gets an extra bump on the list. Therefore, the best independent game of the year is Coral Island. There's 100% through the look of, I like that game.
Fair enough.
What's yours? What's your list, Max?
Well, my list is going to be a little bit contentious because I want to know if I can have Baldur's Gate 3 as an independent game.
Technically, yes.
Because it technically is. But
I didn't put it on my list. I chose not to consider it mostly because once again, I have not played enough of it to be able to make that call. But
I've finished it multiple times. So my 3 would be Viewfinder.
Oh, good one.
Great. That was the you take the photo to mess with your surroundings, your viewpoint, and you solve puzzles using that. Great game. Lies of P.
Oh, also yeah.
That was the Pinocchio Bloodborne Dark Souls style game. That was fantastic. I won't put Baldur's Gate 3 because it's spoiler alert, going to be game of the year for me. But for independent game, let's go with Lies of P. I played like 100-ish hours of it. Collected. I think I have the Xbox equivalent of the platinum for it is. Game's great. Game's so good. I am a sucker for Dark Souls game. The interactions of it being like this alternate style of, Geppetto's puppets uprising. It was awesome. The mechanic of the different arms that Pinocchio could use for any given situation was fantastic. The fact that you can chop and change your weapons, hopefully they include that in future Dark Souls games where you can change the essentially you can change the attack animations of any given weapon by putting different handles and blades on it. So if you put a light handle but a heavy blade, your moveset won't be a heavy blade moveset. You can attack a little bit faster because the sword or weapon is weighted differently. It was awesome. It was a really nice change of pace and a differ from the norm, which was awesome. So for that reason, Liza P will be my independent game of the year this year.
Very nice. Well done, Liza P. Well done, Coral Island. You won't know. You won't know or care. But thank you anyway. All right, well, once again, Max, seeing as you've kind of spoiled it, you've laid it on the table.
Yeah, look.
What were your nominees, knowing full well the Baldur's Gate 3 is your game of the year?
Final Fantasy 16 Hogwarts Legacy. Baldur's Gate 3.
Nice. Do you want to touch by the other two?
Okay, so I'll give you this. If Baldur's Gate 3 didn't release this year, I think my game of the year would have been Hogwarts Legacy.
Wow. Now, that's knowing full well that you are the biggest Harry Potter
Final Fantasy dork, man.
And Final Fantasy dork, yeah.
As contentious as Hogwarts Legacy release was...
We've used that word a lot today.
It's
a word of the day calendar.
As someone who has multiple copies of all the books in both physical and audio book form,
and the pop-up ones too.
I have a Harry Potter tattoo. This series as a whole has always meant a lot to me. Yet the author has meant almost nothing to me. It was the work, not the that always, had me.
Yeah.
So I was able to separate art from artist and enjoy the thing that I have always loved, and they did such a fantastic job bringing it to life. The fact that I could just walk around Hogwarts Castle and find hidden objects behind stairwells and paintings and doing all those things, collecting all the collectibles, checking the star charts, just flying around the grounds. It really did such a fantastic job of bringing you into that world and showing you what it was all about. The combat was tight. The story was pretty cool. They did a really good job knowing full well the reception that they were probably going to receive. They did an awesome job. I hope they do more.
Probably won't, which is a real shame, but I hope they do. And also, did you want to touch on Final Fantasy as well?
Yeah, Final Fantasy 16 was awesome. It's this hard part where a lot of me loves the old turn-based systems of what Final Fantasy used to be versus its clear departure from the norm of now being an action-adventure game. And you could tell that the person who was lead combat design was the guy who designed Devil May Cry. Like, it has the exact same feel to it. The story at times was a bit hit and miss for me, but the gameplay was tight. The story, while hit and miss, it was very cliche to a Final Fantasy story, so it wasn't unexpected. But I was hoping for what I felt could have been a more mature, maybe grittier story. They did it was nice to not have the stereotypical teen band randomly saving the world. It was kind of a more grounded, to a degree, storyline. At first, I believed it was going the Game of Thrones route, which was awesome. It was all about this political intrigue and this, and this, and then it kind of did a fucking quick 90-degree turn. It was about something else instead, which was kind of a shame. But overall, it looked great. It played great. It had an amazing soundtrack. The locations were awesomely designed. I did have a blast with it. And it just goes to show that this year was so good for games. We were kind of spoiled.
Yeah. All right, now's your time. Baldur's Gate 3.
I I've talked about Baldur's Gate 3 for so long over the course of the last, X amount of months since it came out back in August. I've been playing this game for the better part of like 3 years. I played it all through development. I played it in early access. I have now completed the game 3 different times with 3 separate endings. I've played a few of the origin characters. It's just, it gives, I've said it a million times, it gives the player so much agency to play how they want to play. Nothing even comes close to being comparable to giving you an experience that Baldur's Gate 3 gives you. So
beautiful.
And there's a hilarious scene at the start of the game where you like full on kick in a barn door where 2 people are just going at it.
Oh yeah, I've heard. Yeah, isn't it like 2 weird creatures?
Yeah, it's like a troll and a fucking bugbear or something like that.
Was it? In my head, it was an owlbear, but no.
No.
Either way, it's two weird animals to smooshing. So well done. Yeah. So well done to Baldur's Gate 3 unexpectedly, shocker, winning Max's game of the year. So I got 4. I was gonna do 5 noms, but because we normally do 5 for game of the year, but we went 4. Part B. Man, those beers are sitting real heavy. Not in any particular order, but yeah. Immortals of Avium made the list for me. Mostly because it really took me by surprise. So it was a game that I know that caught your attention initially. So when Avalanche showed that trailer, and you're like, it's essentially Doom first-person shooting, but with magic. I was like, It looked a little bit too frenetic for me. I was like, okay, cool. Where it gave you the biggest of boners. I was like, all right. So thankfully the team at EA gave us a code, and I was like, I'll give it a bill. Played it a little bit, and it caught my attention. I was like, okay. And then something else came out that pulled me away. I don't remember what it was. So then I went, what was it? Oh, what did we just played?
Cool.
Don't remember. We played something, and then I'm like, all right, while we're waiting, I'm going to play Immortals of Avium for the next thing.
Immortals of Avium came out in August.
In August.
Coming out.
Doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. Right? Jumped in there for a game that was the first in what was ideally meant to be a series. It laid out so much gripping lore and legacy in the nuances of these varying tribes and races fighting each other. They set up this world of magic with the idea of yes, we all use magic, however, magic is damaging the world in it, and the only way we can repair the magic damage is by using more magic. And it was this whole, I think it's essentially this big kind of narrative around environmentalism, which is pretty good. The performance was really cool. It kind of took the parts of Forspoken that weren't painful and made them okay. So it had kind of like that witty dialogue or that quick, but it felt nuanced.
Natural.
It felt natural. It felt nuanced in that there are moments in this where you're like, that is your defense. You are being defensive. And you are hiding your insecurity in the shit you're saying. So it's not about saying it for the benefit of making a joke, but you're saying it because it says something and it means something. I was unexpectedly surprised by Immortals of Avium. I put this one on here. These next 2 are purely just because of the things I love. I did put WWE 2K23 in my list, but specifically it is the GM mode. So when this game came out earlier in the year, myself, my partner, Phoebe, and Craig, we thought, hey, it would be fun if we do the GM mode. And literally every week since then, we come together and we play GM. We have belts now. We actively think about our booking outside of the day we do it. We have multiple games. There's one with Craig and I. There's one with Craig, myself, and Phoebe. There's one with Craig, myself, Phoebe, and Etch. And I think they may have contemplated. I think they may have started one that when I'm not here, that would be Craig and Ange, or Craig, Ange, and Phoebe. Ange is my housemate, by the way. This game has not just become part of my week. It has also become part of our socialization. It has become one of the things that have brought us together. It is that friendly rivalry, that friendly competition, mixed with just having some fun. And even down to like Phoebe being not a wrestling fan and coming in and giving it admittedly her all and winning and trying, and it's so cool. It was a way to really unify like the key people in my life together. It's the same as you, Max. Like, you know, I'm really bad at hanging out with people unless there's a reason, just because it's almost like I feel compelled to find an excuse.
Yeah.
Like, I can't just tell you that I want to hang out with you. I have to find a reason. So whether it be, hey, there's wrestling on, or we're doing this or whatever, and this became our reason. So each week we come together just when we have a nice, you know, we make a nice dinner. Like it's our essentially collective group date night, right? And it's so lovely, and I adore it. And that game had to make this list purely for the emotional impact of that. Is it the best game of the year? Not even close. But for me, it's been a really important game for me. I did also put Spider-Man 2 on this list as well. I do believe the game is very, very good. However, once again, emotional impact for me is what I got to experience here. Yeah, so look, my game is not very subjective. Sorry, it's not very objective. Sorry, it's incredibly fucking subjective, right? It is. So for me, what this game sat for me, not just about the game being very good, it was very well made. I didn't experience a lot of the bugs everyone talked about. I enjoyed the story. It looked great. The statues behind me, tons of fun. Thank you to PlayStation Australia, merch bag, etc. But for me, this is a game that I got to experience front to back with my son. Like, I remember waking up in the middle of the night as my phone went off with the key from PlayStation going, hey, here is your copy of Spider-Man 2. My son was asleep, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait to tell him in the morning. And that morning when I got to wake up, and I go, hey bud, do you want to play Spider-Man? He's like, Dad, we play Spider-Man all the time. I'm like, hey, what about Spider-Man 2? And he goes, but it's not out yet. I'm like, yeah, but I've got it. And like watching his eyes light up, and he have this moment of, it made me look like the best fucking dad in the world for a second, which is one of the best feelings in the world. To then to be able to come in this room, and I gifted him his own Spider-Man controller that I bought weeks in advance, and I had it stashed in a cupboard, and knowing that the day would come. Presumably, I thought it was going to be closer to release date. I'd be able to give him that controller and be able to play Spider-Man together. So we stood in this room and we played Spider-Man together. I recorded it, so I got to see his legitimate first responses to this game. So he you know, and the fact that my 7-year-old son literally gets to be one of the first people in the world to play this game. And this is my son who adores Spider-Man. Like, I know it seems a little bit like on the nose on a PlayStation show for a guy with PlayStation symbols tatted on his arm to kind of go, oh, you know, this is in there for me, right? But there are a couple of things that I've experienced in my time working in this games media space, and there are advantages that we have, and this is one of them, where I've got to be able to sit here and have this incredibly connected moment with my son that he will remember forever, because I'm going to remember it forever too. There was that time that we sat here and we got to play it together, and we talked about it and we critiqued it together, and then we finished the entire game before it even released. And like he and I got to live in our own secret world for a couple of weeks. When I went, hey bud, this is the day that we can talk about it. We're not allowed to talk about it. And if you want to talk about it, you can talk to me. Give me a call and we'll chat about it. But you can't tell your friends. Got to keep it hush hush. And he took it on board. Like my son can keep an NDA better than half you fucking people on Twitter, might I add. He kept his word, but he would ring me, and because I finished it myself so we could make our content, and then he came back and finished off. So he would ring me like speculating on what was going to happen because he's been sitting and pondering on it, right? That is something that something I'll never forget. And that alone is why it makes this list. Subjectively. Objectively, the game's great. But subjectively, it's amazing. Now, finally, Max. Can DLC be considered Game of the Year?
Look, we had this conversation earlier. I think it depends on... Like, it's a mode. It's a gameplay mode.
Yeah.
It's not like a...
Look, I'm willing to let it be Spider-Man because of everything I've just said. But in my heart,
you want God of War, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Go for it.
Okay.
Looks so.
I touched upon it earlier. A little bit about like in the beginning of the show. There has never been a piece of art that has ever hit me as hard and as true as the God of War franchise, especially these from 2018 onwards. It is insane to me that I have found something that connects and understands me for people that have never met me, they've never understood, they've never don't know who I am. There are all these beats within this franchise that sings true to my being and the journey that I am taking on in this world and the things that I'm trying to do, which, be better, seek redemption, ensure the past doesn't repeat itself. Because I don't like the person that I was, but I like the person I am now. And I like all the things that come with that. And as I mentioned at the beginning, with God of War Ragnarok Valhalla, it is... There are different steps in a story of self-improvement or a journey of self-improvement for oneself. There is the confronting it, the dealing with it, and then the moving forward. This essentially this trilogy, because it's like two games and DLC, hit that beat. I don't think even at the time of 2018, because my journey came a little bit later, but the game hit me at that moment, at that time, where it talked about, an individual that is struggling with who they are, and they want to ensure that their child, that their son doesn't it doesn't become them because you hate you so much. And then the build, the relationship, the love that is inherent between a father and a son, and it encapsulates that. And we see Kratos grow and change and become more emotionally aware and be more understanding, be more open to willing to let people in and share these things. And from then in Ragnarok, you see, well, what happens now that you've confronted that part of you? What do you do to fix it? And then in Ragnarok, we see someone open up and become and rebuild a family, something that he actively sought to step away from, because for him, emotional connection is what caused pain. So to roll credits on Ragnarok at the end of last year, and I'm bawling my eyes out because it's an incredible fucking game, thinking that was kind of where it was going to end. To then, literally a week ago, go, hey, there's DLC coming, and it's story heavy, it's going to be awesome. So I jump in, and I myself, as I mentioned, I am on my own journey of self-improvement, of redemption, and I'm kind of at this point in my own journey where I'm like, I'm at that looking forward. Like, I've laid the groundwork down. I've found the problem. I've confronted it. I've worked to repair it. And I'm at this precipice of, I still have to keep working, obviously, but what is next? Yeah. But then it's also that idea of the biggest challenge that I have personally is my inability to forgive myself. And that is what's holding me back. The one thing that I'm yet to do is forgive myself for the things that I've done, the pain that I've caused to myself and others. Valhalla is that. It is, what do you do now when, you can't run from the past forever, you can't avoid the past forever. That because the past is you, it is part of you. For better or worse, it is part of you. But what do you do with that information? Because it is going to happen and it's going to come up where you're going to have to do things that engage that part of your past. And for Kratos, it is, do you take on the title of God of War again? For me, it's a number of other factors. So as I'm playing this game and I'm connecting to it, and I am genuinely perplexed about how it understands me. And then on top of that, it's littered with incredible performances. Like, Kratos is not just an amazing character now. He's grown, he's emotive, he's articulate, everything. And then you've got Mimir as well, like sort of adding to that, being essentially his conscience and being the angel and devil on his shoulder. And then we're also seeing the nuances of Mimir too and his story. And it's such a fleshed out and beautiful and real demonstration of humanity and all of its blessings and curses. And I guess it's kind of spoilers, right? Like, as the DLC wraps, you see a man who was forever confronted by his past have that moment of hope for the future, of that realization that everything he's done hasn't been for nothing, but also looking at that past and being able to forgive himself. Not that it condones the behavior, but within himself goes, I can reconcile this part of me. And as I said, I understand it's completely based in my own personal connection.
So you would not agree with David Jaffe's recent discourse on how he's disappointed with the direction that Kratos as a character has gone, feeling that the new games have made him too personal and weaker because of it, and that he believes that the writers are impairing their own personal issues onto Kratos, resulting in a significant departure from his original portrayal as a character.
David Jaffe may have created Kratos, but fuck you. Fuck you. It's not your character anymore. Who gives a fuck? Congratulations, you gave it away. It's not it's not your character. You know what it is now? A better character. Because those things, it makes him weaker. No. Being personable, having emotion, and being able to deal with them is exactly strength. What Kratos has become, he was a version of what you would consider toxic masculinity to now an incredible demonstration of positive masculinity, of a man that is willing to be strong, not just for himself, but those around him, but also be willing to open up and show those parts of him, not because it makes him weak, because it makes him fucking strong. Game's brilliant. David Jaffe, fuck yourself. I quite like David Jaffe most of the time, so I mean that in the nicest way. But,
or that you like him most of the time, or
I like him most of the time. But it's one of those things. Like, congratulations, it's not your thing anymore. Who cares? It's like Kratos as a character would have been forgotten. He would have been a character of past. He means nothing to us anymore. If Cory Balog had not stepped in and created 2018 God of War. What they have now made is a character who will stand the test of time. But in that same breath, it didn't take away everything that Jaffe had created. All the groundwork for those first 3 games and Ascension, pardon me, everything was all stemmed in what Jaffe done. So if anything, it makes the shit that he made better. Because Kratos, up until 2018, was a one-note, boring as all shit character. Yes, there were little nuances in there about the rage and his family and Calliope and Pandora and his connection to these characters. But it didn't mean as much until now, where he's able to confront those parts of him that were not written into him in that time. Eat a dick, Jaffe. And therefore, my preferred game of the year, is God of War Ragnarok Valhalla. But I could go on big diatribes about this game all day, every day. And I do.
And it was free.
And it was free, which makes it even goddamn better. Big win. Big win. I love that you paid so much attention, Max, that you're sending links in our group chat. Oh, that was too
awesome.
I had a feeling it was more of Max is like, I know where this is going. He's not going to shut up, so I'm going to go check Twitter.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. It happens to be irrelevant to a God of War story.
Oh, is it? Oh, was it Jaffe's fucking article, you arsehole?
No.
All right, let me have a squiz. I didn't lick it.
I'm way better.
Hey, actually, it was twitter.com instead of X. That's interesting. Oh, yeah, I know. I did see this. So, as part of Ragnarok, whenever you leave Valhalla, go back to the shore, you have this headache, and it's being cut with all the Fortnite dancing, which hurts me. But also, when's that skin? Because I want that skin. Can it come back?
Who knows?
But there you go. That is our game of the year, our Metacritic draft. I said, as we hit 2 hours on this goddamn recording, this does put us at the end of this year. We kind of do this at the end of every year. Just a big thank you to everyone. We really appreciate it. We're very aware that, we hit our peak fucking 5 years ago, and we have been coasting ever since. But we've been able to get to that point and continue coasting because of all you. For those of you that choose to listen, choose to watch, engage with us on social medias and chat, and it allows us to do this and have a platform where I can fucking gush about God of War for an unreasonable amount of time, collectively. So big thank you to everyone, whether you watch, listen, etc. Even big thank you to all the PR folk as well. I'm not sure how many of them actually listen or watch or whatever. But big thank you to you. As I said, we are the little guys. And, yes, there's not that many PlayStation-centered content platforms here in Australia. But we're one of them. I think we're one of the best of them, but we're one of them. And a big thank you to you, Max, as well. Another year of you putting up with my bullshit each and every week.
Crazy times.
Yeah, taking time out of your life, even though when you have a little one. 2 little ones.
Yeah, now 2 little ones now. Crazy, yeah. Crazy, yeah.
No, it's been good. It's weird. I still enjoy it as much as I did near a decade ago now at this point. This show is 320, near 330 episodes. That's not every week, but, that's 6 years? It's an unreasonable amount of time to do anything. Anything. But it has been an absolute pleasure, as always. Really enjoy it. Still love it.
Still love it.
Yeah. It's good stuff.
Maybe we'll get our scheduling on track next year.
What do you mean?
It's a Friday here. It's a Saturday here.
Oh, well, yeah, that's because life gets in the way, right? That's life gets in the way. And that happens, right? It still releases pretty much every Monday, except for once this year? Twice, maybe?
I think there was once when you forgot to hit upload and.
I scheduled it for Tuesday because I'm a dickhead, and the other day was because we tried to record on Sunday and then we couldn't, so we recorded Monday. But yeah, no. So like in terms of 2024, like we're not going to do these big proclamations of what we're going to do, knowing full well that
It never work. Every time we've gone into like full blown media mode, and we're like, "This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna have a layout. This is it." Within like 2 weeks, something fucking happens, throws everything out of whack. It's just
because like for me, it's as you mentioned that journey before, right? Like I don't have that dog in me anymore. I don't have that fight. I had it X amount of years ago when that grind was real, and that grind cost me a lot. You know what I mean? A lot of my personal well-being, my health, a bunch of different things. And now I'm very lucky to be in a position where I am the happiest I've ever been in a very, very long time. Am I healthy? Yeah, I'm fine. But you know what I mean? It's these things. And I am not, as much as I would love to for the benefit of what we do, I am weirdly not willing to give up some of these things again. Like the time with my son, time with my partner, time with my friends, my time. Getting to enjoy things for me again has been lovely without having that guilt of, oh, that should be content or that should be a stream or whatever. I do it for me now. And yes, that means you guys get one show a week, but that show's going to be better. I'd like to hope anyway. You know, it's one of those things. So like one of the things we are heading into the next year is we'll be rebranding a lot of our stuff in that it will no longer be the PopCulturists. It will be for the players, the PopC PlayStation Podcast. And the reason being is we haven't done anything outside of the PopCulturists in 2 years. Everything that we have done in that time has been this show. And I think for me, I originally never wanted to change that because I had a sense of ownership and pride over the branding. And then I realized that is fucking useless and that is all me and my ego. And that could be preventing 1,000 things that we do. So I'm going to pivot it. So our socials will change. Our YouTube will change. Everything will stay there. And that's about it, really. Like the handles themselves won't change or anything. But it will pivot into named that. Just to help with searches, etc. And it's just, we haven't done anything outside of it forever. So, yeah. What about you, Max? How's it for you to have another year in the banks?
Yeah, I mean, it's been an interesting year. Obviously, you know, we're now 2 years post COVID, so everything.
We still haven't gone back in person, and probably won't.
Yeah, well, it's just one of those things. Now that our recording time is at like 8 o'clock on a Sunday night, it's just not feasible anymore.
No, and you have your child. I have my child.
By the time I drive to your place, record, drive home, I have to go to work.
Yep.
Like it's not. Unfortunately, it's become one of those 100% work from home roles, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It does, give us the comfort of if things need to be rescheduled or we need to make a delay in the start, or each of us have our own lives and responsibilities and all that other this, that, and the other. It does make things a little bit easier, and
it does align with which I wish I learned earlier, family first.
Yeah. So it's but yeah, again, it's been a great year. I've got to do a lot of things that I would never have experienced before doing this.
Yeah, you guessed it on so many pods this year.
Yeah, I'm always down. I do love getting. I've been
review codes.
Going back to like the guesting. I do love going and conversing with different people to see if it's to kind of take me out of my comfort zone of like what we do back and forth is kind of second nature these days. Whereas trying to articulate myself without you being there to kind of back me up because you know how I think, you're like, I gotcha. Really helps, I think. And like, even though I've been doing this for a couple of years now, I'm still very green. So, shout out to the guys from like News to Reviews who, for some reason, keep inviting me to come back.
Yeah, I haven't been back in a while. Where are we up? Where's my invite, boys?
Because I I told them not to get you on anymore. Every time they want someone from us, they should
And
first on the list.
it's fine. Good negotiation.
But
what can I say?
no, yeah, that's what I do. But no, it's always fun, and hopefully there's more of that on the horizon for me.
Yeah, I'd imagine there would be. I can't see why there wouldn't.
Worried myself out.
Let's have a look. So this goes up on the 18th. We will be back on likely the 8th of January 2024.
Week back.
I think that checks back. So got about 2 weeks off. It's not too bad. So yeah, I hope everyone out there has a lovely Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, holiday break, whatever it is you celebrate, however it is you do it. Fuck yeah, go you. Enjoy yourself.
We wouldn't do.
That's not much. I don't do a whole lot these days. So like, yeah, do what I wouldn't do. That's fine. You know, whatever it is you want to do to enjoy yourself, because we've all fucking earned it. It has been a goddamn year, as it is every year, and we're gonna go chill, sleep, hopefully play some games. I'm gonna work the whole way through because I'm a fucking dickhead.
Yeah,
it's all well and good. For the last time this year, Max, send him home.
Year. PlayStation conversation happens every Monday morning at 8 a.m. on podcast services, including Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. If you'd like to take part in future conversations with it, you can, but not for the next 2 weeks. But keep posted. Check out our socials. Talk to us. Hit me up on Twitter. I'm really bad at it, but do it anyway. Let's see what happens.
He doesn't have it installed. He just opens his browser sometimes. He goes, "Oh fuck."
Yeah, so because I don't have the app, I only use the browser-based version. I don't get ping, so I'll like not check it for 3 days, and then I'll have like a few messages and a couple of DMs. I'm like, yeah, sorry about that, guys. So I'm on it, but do it anyway. Hit me up. I'll try and be better. All of those links can be found in the description below for Twitter, Discord, Instagram, X. You know, Twitch has new terms of service. Be prepared for some fucking tasteful artistic nudity next year.
Yeah. Like it's, you know, we didn't say we weren't going to do a lot of, you know, full-blown changes. However, like we will do those jumping titty slappy things that have been popular on Twitch as of late. Yeah, and we'll have artistic nude, so it's just dong with paint on it. Like that is our plan for next year. And you can check that out if you head over to twitch.tv/thepopcultures, where you can join this conversation as it happens. But if you do listen to us on podcast service, be sure to give us a 5-star rating and a written review. If you watch us on YouTube, be sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment below. I will answer every single comment. And if you want to support us financially, you can at patreon.com/thepopculturists, as well as our merchandise store, popcultures.com/shop, where you can buy shirts and other sorted shit with our logos on it. But until next year, I'm Ryan Betson.
Thanks, people.
And that was For the Players.
Sean's going back to podcast version only.
Yeah, good idea. You don't want to see that shit? I don't want to see that shit, but apparently it makes money.
Apparently you're not supposed to do it for money according to the terms of service, though.
Then why the hell would I pull my dick out?